What up, everybody? This is Marcus Fatah. Hey, this is a review with the Canon EOS RP. This is not a bashing review. Listen, shh, all the bashing is over. I want to actually talk about photography. There's a lot of bashing, but what about the photography? So this is the Canon EOS RP, and if you was on Adorama, or you know, everyone's trying to pronounce it, and you saw this Flashpoint Xplor600. This is my first time getting the Flashpoint Xplor600. It was for used, but in excellent condition. The only problem was it didn't come with the reflector. Well, I have tons of reflectors, so it was a steal. I want to say I only paid like 300 something bucks for this. Well, I didn't really pay for it. I did a return on one of the flashes I had that went out, and we just traded out for the value. So Adorama is good. Customer service, I mean, you're talking to professionals. I was online with a professional, and we discussed this Flashpoint Xplor600. Also got an extra power pack with it as well, because the last system I had an extra battery pack with it as well. So they ended up shipping me the Xplor600 R2. It's the older one, okay? All you need is the system, and I have a Canon, and I also have a Sony one. I used to have a Sony, but now I'm using Canon because I have the EOS RP, okay? Which is a great camera system, okay? So those are talking about video recording. I'm actually recording with it, all right? So let's go over this review. So I have the extra power pack. Now, really on a photo shoot, if you're a good professional photographer, you can do a lot of photo shoots off one battery. But always bring an extra battery just in case somebody called me at the last minute and need me to do something extra, or do an extra photo shoot, or hey man, what you doing now? We need some photos. Extra battery pack, always ready. Also, I use this extra battery pack if I was doing a fashion show. Usually I can do a whole entire fashion show with one, off of one battery, but you always gotta have a backup. So here's the backup, and it's pretty, got some weight to it. The system has some weight to it. So I'm not gonna go into the details about the Xplor600 R2 because it's been out for a while, but I wanna tell you what techniques I was using when I was doing high-speed sync. That's right, high-speed sync with the Canon EOS RP. So my first shoot with the Canon EOS RP, of course I was using this, the Flashpoint. This is also, you know, the same as the Godox 600 as well. I was using my Sigma 85 1.4 art lens here. Excellent photos. I'm gonna show you the photos later. Actually, with this video, as soon as I go over the equipment I use, I'm gonna go sit down on the computer and I'm gonna show you the photos that I've taken with the Canon EOS RP and the Flashpoint Xplor600, along with the Sigma 1.4 85 art lens. Okay, so the first part of the photo shoot, I used this big umbrella. You guys know this one as well. I'm not gonna go into details about this big guy here, but when I use it, I do not put the, I do not cover it up. I actually leave it open. And I have my reasons why. Some people want to close it up, that's fine. If you want to make it, some people say get softer light. I can get softer light just like this, okay? And it won't be hard light, it'll still be soft on the subject as well, okay? I do well just leaving it open, okay? With this big umbrella. I'm gonna show you some photos that I've taken with this umbrella as well. Woo! Let me put that down. I'm gonna show you some photos that I've taken with this type of setup for high-speed sync, but it was on top of a bridge and it was so windy. I used all types of weight, and the thing is that when you're doing it by yourself, it didn't fall. The only thing is that when the wind was blowing, it kept turning and the wind just kept doing it like that. So I wasn't getting the type of lighting I really wanted. So I had a little struggle with it by myself on the bridge. I don't have a whole team, but I am a professional photographer. Speaking of professional photographers, there's too much bashing going on with camera equipment. If you're a professional, you can take any type of camera and come up with professional results. To me, there's no such thing as a professional camera. You might have some professional features, but the quality images in the cameras are the same. I done played with the Sony and also with the Canon systems. And one thing I don't do is I don't give you results, and I don't talk about any product that I don't have in my hand. Guys, I'm gonna tell you something. All you guys sitting down at the computers, finding something to talk about, and you don't even have the product in your hand, and you telling me you have enough information to prove your point? No, sorry. So if you went to the hospital and you wasn't a doctor, you don't know how to open up a heart and operate, but you did enough research to tell someone that it should be done this way, get out of here. It has to be in your hand. You have to be qualified, and you need to use the product in order to do a full review. So stop bashing products that you don't have in hand. So back to the system that I use. I was using high-speed sync. We was on the bridge, and I'm gonna show you a few photos that I used right afterwards. But this flash point is pretty accurate. The Canon communicating from the Canon EOS RP to the flash point Xplor600 RP was bananas. When you see these photos, the results, you're gonna be like, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about. I can do it with any camera, but I just love the color science with the Canon systems. And if it's color and science and the photos that you want good quality colors out of, man, go with what works for you, okay? Now, another thing you're gonna notice that when I edit my photos, I don't send it over to Lightroom because for some reason, Lightroom does not understand all the color science with Canon. You'll notice that when you go through Lightroom that the images get darker and a lot of the quality is out of the image. So the first thing I would do is I'll pull it up in the Canon software. So with the Canon software, I go from the Canon software to Adobe Photoshop, and from Photoshop, I would edit in Camera Raw. And in my Camera Raw from Adobe Photoshop, I also have the filters that I use from Lightroom. So the Lightroom filters are matching, and it also shows up in the Canon Raw, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, but this is what I used. Got great results. Now, let me tell you something. I'm gonna show you something, and you're gonna have to be a professional photographer to use what I'm about to show you next, okay? The next thing I did was, with it being so windy, I went ahead and I got the 45, the glow long throw reflector, and I actually call it the long throw light or the desert light, because out here in Texas, the sun is so bright, and the best time to use this is in the bright sun. If you have your subject out there in the wide open bright sun, this long throw light is the perfect light source to use, okay? So this is what it looks like. And you know what's so cool about this is that I also use the 8200s, and the whole 8200 system works the same. Everything you know about the 8200, I was able just to go on the spot, turn this on, and I was ready to go because I already know the menu system from the 8200 light system from Flashpoint or the Godox. Okay, so right there on the spot, I was ready. Okay, so I'm gonna take the cap off. Always put this cap back on because you never know when you're gonna drop this or bump it into something. So the last thing you want to do is have to order another one of these light bulbs, and it's hard. Okay, so this is how it goes on. It's a Bowen mount, by the way, and this is what you have. I'm gonna put this in the view here. Man, look at this. Man, and when we say long throw light, you can actually push this far away from your subject that the light would actually spread out. And as it spread out, you'll be surprised on how it softened up. And when I show you some of the photos, I'm gonna show you what to do with some of those hard shadows as well, okay? So we're gonna get into that as well. But I use this long throw light, and basically what I'm doing right now is going on the equipment that I use, okay? So it's the Canon EOS RP, okay? High speed sync with the Glow 45 long throw light and the Flashpoint Xplor600. I only use one battery for that time, and I got quite a few shots, and the battery was still showing full power on the indicator here, okay? And so there you have it. I'm Marcus Vitag. I just wanted to show you in this part of the review the setup that I use to take the images that I'm about to show you, okay? Oh, and by the way, see that tracking system? It's tracking me. Hey, I'm looking in there and I can actually see it's on my eyeball right here, and there's a little square right there. But even if I step away, okay, and it's not there on my eyeball, I was still getting sharp images, and I'm gonna show you. I got some real sharp images. The next thing I'm gonna do is I also use the Canon EOS RP in the studio, and I use, of course, in the studio I was using this right here, and I also use a strip light as well. So I had two light sources in the studio. I'm gonna show you those images as well, and you'll get to see how sharp those pictures are from the studio, from high speed sync outdoors as well. So see you at the computer. Snap, one more thing I forgot to tell you. Snap, one more thing I forgot to tell you is that when you're in the field, you're gonna need one of these guys. When I take the photos, I actually transfer the images to my either my iPad or my Android tablet, and I look at the images and make sure my photo quality and everything is coming out great. Because when you're out there with a client and you're shooting professional, you need to view your images and make sure that everything is turning out the way you really want it. Don't wait till you get to the house and look on the computer and be like, oh man, I messed up. I missed that. Oh, the focus point was off. So two things I'm doing right now is I turned my mic off because I wanted you to hear the mic that's actually coming from the camera as well. So that's another part of the review. So you hear the mic from the camera. Also, I want to let you know that when you're out photographing, you're gonna want to Wi-Fi to your tablet, okay? Send those images over, review your images from your tablet. Make sure you're getting the quality you want. Don't just be out there gunning it and just, oh man, when I get to the house, I wonder what it's gonna look like. When I get to the computer, I wonder what it's gonna look like. Know what it's gonna look like before you leave. And the cool thing about this is when I'm photographing, I also show my clients, and they have the confidence that the shoot is going great because they're actually looking at the images with me. Most important, when I was in the studio, I was photographing a model, and I was showing her the images, and she realized that she needed to do something different to her makeup, so she had some dark spots there, and she was able to look at the images. She went to the room, redid some makeup to remove some of those dark spots, so her makeup can be smoother, because she realized, she's like, oh man, I didn't know. She's like, I didn't know I was gonna get that much quality out of your camera. I said, hey, I'm a professional. Okay, so on location, when you're doing senior portraits, it'd probably be hard to review these during a wedding. So of course, you gotta be on point when you do your weddings. But I even take this when I'm actually doing weddings as well. When I'm on my downtime and everyone's eating, I'll go to the side and I'll pull up some of the images and make sure I got, some confidence, that, hey, I did great. And I'll take the image over to the wedding couple and I'll show it to them, and they'll feel great. They know that, hey, I got the right photographer, and they say, hey, do your job, you're the professional. So I'm gonna let you do you. You tell the story. That's what you want your clients to say, okay? So please, don't just be out there photographing and not knowing what your images look like. Now, I know you look at the back of the camera, you're like, oh, that's cool. But I'm telling you, it's okay to look at the back of the camera to make sure you got it right. It's okay to look through the viewfinder and make sure you got it right. But that big image that you're gonna see on your tablet or your phone, you'll know for sure what the quality of your image is, okay? So please, Wi-Fi to your tablet, and of course, you're gonna need extra batteries in your camera system because you're using Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi does take up a little bit more battery time, but hey, it's professional, so be professional. And see you guys at the computer, for real this time.
Hey guys, we are back, and once again, I'm Marcus Photog. Hey, you get a chance, check me out on the Instagram. It's Marcus Photog on Instagram. Recently I posted quite a few photos that I've taken with the Canon EOS RP. So I even did you'll see some images that I photographed in very low light of people on stage, some studio. This is actually a magazine that I actually use here for the kids. So I have my own magazine that I publish. This is my portfolio magazine. So that was issue number 16. So I started this in August, and I'm on issue number 16. And I'm getting some very great looks with the Canon EOS RP. And I must say that the images with the Canon EOS RP, even though they're comparing it to the Canon 6D Mark II, I'm sorry, but since I own the 6D Mark II, the images that I'm getting with the Canon EOS RP are a little bit higher quality than the Canon 6D Mark II. Now, don't get it confused. You can still get great images with the Canon EOS. With the Canon. Don't get it confused. You can still get great images with the Canon 6D Mark II. So if you have that camera and you're comfortable with it, just keep using it. I just was in a position where I can actually get the Canon EOS RP. So I even taken some sport shots here at the Texas Relay, and you guys know here in Texas, man, there's some powerful track stars here. So enough about the IG. Let's talk about some photography. If you guys get a chance, just go and follow me on IG and like and subscribe this video if you if you enjoy the things that I present to you. So like and subscribe, sorry, not prescribe. I used to work in the medical field, so when I worked in the medical field, I kind of maxed out. So I went into my dream, which is photography, and I love photographing. The main thing I photograph is kids, bridals, and weddings, and I shoot for some designers and some models in the local area. That's the main type of photography I do here in Texas. Okay, And then not only Texas, but also travel to other states. So soon I'll be able to go to some other countries. So that's my my next project. But let's talk about photography, okay? I photographed this with the Canon EOS RP. This is with the Parabolic umbrella, and I'm using high-speed sync. And let me tell you something, high-speed sync is not always 4,000, 8,000 of a second. High-speed sync is actually going past the sync speed of your camera. So your camera could be like 180, 200, 250. But high-speed sync allows you to go past the sync speed of your camera. So that's high-speed sync. Okay, so I'm shooting at 1/800 of a second here, and my ISO is 50. Yes, you can actually get a 50 ISO in the Canon EOS RP and also the Canon 6D Mark II. When you set it, it's going to have a little L there. That L means 50. So I'm at a 50 ISO here, and notice that I'm shooting at a 4. My f-stop is 4. Reason why my f-stop is 4, because I want a little bit of the background to kind of show up. You don't always want to blur out your background too much, because you'll remove the story out of your images. So the background here actually enhanced the photo. And we're on a bridge not too far from downtown Dallas. As you can see, this is the downtown Dallas sky view here. And this is a high-speed sync, so I'm gonna kind of zoom in, and this is as is in camera, no adjustments made right here. So I want to kind of zoom in for a reason, because people always, you want to know what the quality is with this camera. So once again, what you'll notice in this photograph is I just want to let you see some details here, and remember, this is from a distance here. So I'm shooting with the Canon. Sorry, not with the Canon. I'm shooting with the Sigma 1.4 art lens here, and we're at f4. So I'm zooming in. And most important, you can see the detail in the clothing here. There's the lines in her jacket and stuff like that. You can see the time on her watch. And right here around the belt, the details are there. The image quality of this camera is like outstanding. So if you've been looking into buying this camera, it's at full frame. I would say it's a go. If you have especially if you have Canon lenses, okay. So I wanted to show you this image, and I have a few images I want to show you. Okay, so that one, this is still with the Parabolic umbrella, and we're shooting at high-speed sync. Here's another image here. We're using the shades here, so I'm telling you, the performance. I don't know what else you're looking for here. Wow, I mean, even the grass. I mean, it's green. The colors are there, and I'm telling you, this is right out of camera. See there? And I'm gonna show you what to do when you're shooting and you get these little shadows here. I'm gonna show you what to do with that in a second. But in the meantime, I just want you to see the quality in the images here at high-speed sync. Not even just saying high-speed sync, just the quality in photos. It's just consistent. I was a few times I was looking through the viewfinder, and a few times I was shooting just by looking at the back of the camera. And each time the focus, the system found the face. It squared up on the face, and even with her shades, it was squared up on the face, and it actually it locked in on her eye. So it was that second square was here on the eye, so it found the eye, which is a good feature in the camera. But can you take great photos without seeing that square? Yes, you can. But it's good to know that feature is there, because that's the camera communicating back to you, letting you know, hey, this is where I'm focused. I'm focused right here. So that's a good feature in this camera here. I did notice the same thing when I used to photograph with the Sony as well. So now as far as image quality between this and the Sony, I know it's a big battle. I mean, I'm not gonna get into bashing, but I'm gonna tell you now that what I'm looking at right now, the EOS RP from Canon, is performing excellent. Okay, let's go to another image here. And here's another thing, you know, show some images. I know soon, you know, I do some videos where I'm actually out in the field, and you'll see how I'm photographing my subjects and my clients. But I just love just to sit here and show you guys some real one-on-one image quality talk. Here's another shot here. Like I say, just consistent. Now she's laying in a different angle. I mean, it is just, focusing is just consistent. And this time, I'm shooting at 1/640 of a second here. Still at ISO 50, did not change my ISO. Still shooting at 4.0 with the f-stop. Okay, I'm gonna move along, trying to make this video too long here. Just consistent, and then I'm showing you this one because I want to show you the equipment. It is coming from the Parabolic umbrella here, so every now and then I feather it. The majority of the times I just kept it directly on her, but like I say, just consistent all the way out here. See right here in the clothing, just consistent all the way out. Another thing is you gotta have a good computer. The reason why I'm able to show you these images this quick is because, you know, my computer is updated, and so that's why I'm able to move this around real fast so you can see it, okay, without any drag time. Let's look at another image here. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you some images that I've taken with the with that long throw light I was talking about. But this right here is a test image, and I want to show you this test image because this is the importance of looking at your images on a tablet. When I was looking at it on my tablet, I did a test. I noticed that there was a dark spot. See that spot right there? I'm on two screens here, so I'm looking back and forth, making sure that you can see what I see. I'm using the OBS software here. And I saw that black spot, and I thought I had something wrong with my sensor. I was like, oh no, it's not my sensor. So when I zoomed in, it's a bee. It's a bee. See that bee? So glad it's only one bee. If it was more than 10, we would have had a problem. But glad to see only one bee there. Okay. But that's a test shot. Here's an actual shot straight out of the camera. As you can see, our concept here. Look at this is the Margaret Hunt Bridge here, downtown Dallas, and you see the skyline with downtown Dallas. It's still a high-speed sync, and I'm shooting at 1/3200 of a second here. Now I'm shooting at 2.8. I'm shooting at 2.8 because I'm okay with fading the way it's fading the bridge out. I did want a little bit of fading in the background, but I didn't want to blur it too much to where you lose the story, because see, she's out in the field, you can see the grass here, everything up front, and I didn't want to blur it out. I didn't want to see any bokehs, I didn't want to see any of that. Because I want to keep the storyline of the photos, and that's how you got to think as a professional photographer. You don't want to kill the storyline. You don't want to just take photographs because you see everyone on YouTube on how they photograph pictures, and you want to match your image there. You take the photos that help tell the story that you're trying to bring out for your client. And when we was looking at these images on the tablet, you know, we was well pleased with our results. The colors and everything was perfect. And once again, I'm gonna tell you what to do with this little shadow here to kind of bring things out. But this is with the Glow 45 long throw light here. A lot of sun here in Texas, and I know that they use this type of light source in the desert, and it works well in the daylight here in this city of Dallas. Moving on, I want to show you another one here. Excellent image here. See this image here? Man, this is going to be classic. I don't even have, oh man, I don't even see, there's not data on this one yet, so maybe, oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. This one here is the edited one. I don't want to show you the edited one. I was like, oh man, I can tell why it's edited, but let's go to what the image actually looks like. There it is. That's what you want to see from that long throw light. It's only illuminating the subject. That's what you want. See there? Only illuminating the subject. That's the power of the long throw light. It's not spreading light out. It's actually directing light exactly where you want it. And I wanted that light to hit right in the face of the subject, and the rest of that light, since the light is a distance away from her, and it's really a distance away from her, I promise. That reflector, it throws a light so far that you don't have to have your light source close to your subject. And so when that light spreads out, I mean, it's right there, and it's also catching the clothing right there where we want it. Good, and it's not illuminating the legs and the ground too much. It's just bringing her out. It's bringing her right out of the image, and that's what you want when you're doing high-speed sync. Now, you don't always have to use high-speed sync for this technique. You can also use the ND filter. I used that before, and you can get the same results. So let me tell you something. When it comes to these mirrorless systems, actually, you don't really have to use high-speed sync anymore, because with the mirrorless system, you can actually look through the ND filter and see your subject, versus looking through an optical viewfinder. It's actually going to be dark, because the optical viewfinder goes from the mirror reflecting right what's actually in the lens, where when there's no mirror, the mirrorless system can actually adjust the view so you can actually see. And also, the mirrorless system is also perfect for shooting at night, because when you're looking through an optical viewfinder at night, you won't see your subject unless you light them up. And if you're shooting in areas like streets and stuff like that, you don't want to have your modeling lights on when you're shooting in the street, because you draw up too much attention. So the mirrorless system, or any mirrorless camera, is perfect for nighttime shooting, because you can illuminate your subject, you find the focus on them, and you don't draw too much attention. So that's the storyline when you use the ND filter as well. But this is high speed sync, and I'm shooting at 2.8. I still have my ISO as 50, and this is 1/3200 of a second, which is high speed sync. And I'm using the Canon EOS RP. Great results right here. Okay, let's look at another image. I'm gonna move this along. This right here, telling the story. See, there's this real nice shot here. I'm gonna zoom in on this, and I want to make sure that's 120. That's 26. So okay, so that's the actual image, right? Cool. I want to make sure I wasn't showing you an edited image, but this is the actual image here. Okay, and I'm gonna show you what to do with this little line right here. But other than that, man, you have a great image. Look at the details in the hat. I'm just looking over here, make sure you can see the same thing that I see. The details is there. Look at the look at the flowers. Well, whatever type of grass that is only temporary until something else grows. We had a late bloom here in Texas, because it stayed cold for a very long time. It was cold last week, but the weather's doing fine now, so it's starting to warm up. And of course, this is April in Dallas, Texas. That is a great shot. I think that we should turn that in for publish, or I should publish it myself. We'll see. Okay, so hey, those are the images I showed you with the at high speed sync with the parabolic umbrella, and these are also, now I'm showing you the images with the long throw light, the Glow 45 long throw light. Excellent, man. I mean, I had this tilted down. You can kind of see the angle based on the shadows here, tilted down right over the subject there, and it's only illuminating the subject, nothing else. Everything else was, the fact that I've been doing this for a while, since 1999, I can do this without even having to set my ambient light first. Some people, if you're just getting started, you want to set your ambient light first before you use high speed sync. But I've been doing this so long that I don't even set my ambient light anymore. Automatically know what settings I need to use to bring out the story for images. So it just comes with experience, and that's why I say you gotta be careful with people who are online telling you what to do with photography, and they've only been doing photography for a year. But hey, if that's what it takes for them to make their money, recognition, then so be it. But in reality, seasoned photographer, especially those who used to shoot with film, they don't have to do too much presets or pre-setup or setting ambience and stuff like that. Sometimes you can just get it straight to it and shoot, okay? But once again, this is also the reason why you need to have that tablet Wi-Fi in from your camera, so you can see what your images look like. I hate for you to get home, and I hate for you to get home and you got something like this when it look different in your viewfinder or your camera, or I hate for you to get home and your images is too hot like that, but it look good in the viewfinder of your camera. So that's why I say be sure to look at your images before you leave. That way you're confident in your work. Okay, so let's go to the studio. All right, so how does this camera perform in the studio? Now, here's a shot right here. I'm gonna prove some points here. You make sure that this is the actual image and this is not edited. Okay, cool. All right, so this is the actual image straight out of camera. I'm gonna zoom in, and I just want you to see the quality. I'm looking back and forth, making sure you can see the makeup in this shot. I am in the studio. I'm still shooting at ISO 50. This is 7.1. Using the studio, you want to shoot between 6 and 8. I highly recommend 6 and 8 when you're shooting in the studio. If you're trying to do something with the background, if you got a lot of wrinkles in your background, I can see you turning this down to maybe 3.2 or 4 or something like that. That's okay. But 2.8 is okay, but you want to be careful because you want the clothing to come out all the way through. If you open too wide, a lot of these things might fade out on you. You're not gonna want that. Okay. Look at how the jewelry and the metal show up in this image. You'll notice that you don't see those chromatic. Oh man, it's been so long. I haven't seen it in so long. I can't even pronounce it anymore. Chromatic fringe. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so that don't even exist anymore. That's why I can't even pronounce it. But those little purple or magenta lines you'll see in metal and stuff like that, or something reflecting off. This camera does well, and you don't get to see any chromatic fringing at all. So you just detail. That's studio, okay? And I'm doing this review because I'm getting to the point where I'm gonna stop talking about products and just start talking about photography. People want to know how to, photography again. It's time to learn what photography is, not so much what the equipment is, but what's photography, okay? How you get the perfect image. So as I told you, you see these two little lines here. Right here is that parabolic umbrella, okay? And right here is a strip box with a grid on it. And I have it, this strip box is pointing on the side of her because I want this hair to have this detail. And I want the side of her arms and the clothing to have detail as well. You can see when you're shooting white and you can see the detail in clothing, you are doing a great job. And that is what I'm showing you right here. There is detail all in this image here. So you can say what you want to say. You just need to be a professional photographer and know what you're doing, know your limitations. I mean, right now, cameras these days, there are no limitations, okay? So full frame is always going to be the best, but you can still get great images with crop sensors. I've been using crop sensors for a very long time, so and people were thinking that I was shooting with a higher quality camera. So it's just that you're just a professional, okay? Let's look at another image, and then we're gonna close this out. Look at there. I just want to show you some more details here. You see it right there in the makeup. This is you can see this is her skin. Of course, we ended up smoothing that out because she was wearing something previous to this. So, but I'm showing you that because it's detail. Okay, it's detail all the way throughout, from hair to jewelry. I mean, this is a great camera. So, all right. So there you have it. This is the Canon EOS RP in the studio. There's one other thing I wanted to show you. Well, here's another image as well, so I need to show you that one. But man, this thing is doing great. I'm not having colors. If you can shoot white and get great results, man, I'm telling you, you are doing great. Is that the only thing I wanted to show? Oh, wait, there's one more I want to show you. This is her on the knees. So main thing I'm showing is image quality here. That's all detail. That's all it is details. Right now I'm just showing you details, okay? You should be able to see the fabric, what you do. Okay, those are some great details. But let's go back to this high-speed sync image. Let me pick one. I think it's this one here. You know what? Let me see here. Let me use this one here. Okay. I'm telling you, there's so much quality and information in Canon images, in their raw images, that you're gonna need a real nice computer, because if you were in Lightroom break your images down. I don't know why it does that. I don't know the science behind it, but Lightroom break your images down. But when you're trying to do some high quality work, I recommend you open it up in the Digital Photo Professional 4 first. Then you hit this little Photoshop button. Okay, now this will usually take a long time. It will take longer than that because there's what the software is doing. It is turning things to TIFF, but it's not losing any color. See, the color is still the same. It's not losing any colors, and it's not losing any image quality. I'm going to prove it to you. From a TIFF file, nothing's changed. Okay. So, but the thing I wanted to show you was, if you did view, well, I call mine skin retouch, but if you do high frequency separation here, all you need to do is right on your texture or whatever one you're using for texture, come over here, go to the clone stamp here, and I'm gonna stamp here. And you just want to smooth this out. That's it. Just smooth it out. See there? Look at it, it's gone. And it's blended into the skin. And that's what you want to do when you got these high, when using that direct light. Just smooth it out right there, and it just blends. And it's see right here, even in the clothing, just want to just blend it, okay? That way it doesn't show up. I mean, even here in the skin, just blend it, okay? And it just looks like an even, soft shot here, even here, okay? And there's a few other things. It's a little shine here. You can just blend that off. It was getting a little warm, as you can tell, so a little sweat started popping up. It went from very cold and windy, well, not cold, but very windy, and then the temperature started rising. So the reason why I use that long throw light is because I like to direct my light, and it's easier to control in windy situations. So see how that's smoothed out? That's what you're gonna want to do, especially if you're using hard light like that long throw light, or even if you're using a high-speed stick with an umbrella. You're always gonna have a shadow somewhere. Just go in there and smooth it out just like that, okay? Hey, see, hey, I showed you a tip. And of course, once you're done with that, you want to flatten your image out. And this is what I'm telling you about camera raw. So when you go to camera raw, you can still make your adjustments. You can, I would add some shadows here. When you're doing the high-speed sync, increase your shadows a little bit and drop your highlights just a little bit. Kind of keep your colors going. And that's pretty much about all I would do with that image right there. But here's the other thing. These are my settings and my filters and things I created in Lightroom. And it would do it just like Lightroom. See that? So all your filters are there. And I got tons of filters in Lightroom, as you can see right here. Just like that. And let's just say I decided to, I'm just gonna pick one, anything. I just pick that. Once you pick it, you can go back to here. You can still make all different adjustments if you needed to. If you need to be a little cooler, warmer, you can do it there. You can play around with the 10 a little bit if you had to. Increase your exposure, drop it, things you need to do. And clarity, maybe you didn't like the way the clarity came out. You can make all your adjustments here. Dehazing. Dehazing is, you know what they use that for. So there you have it. That's Canon, the camera raw with Adobe. If you're using an image and you want to use it to for display, or it's a perfect image and you don't want to lose detail, please do it this way, okay? Do it this way, all right? And of course you can save it to wherever you want to save it or however, but right now it's a TIFF file, and it's a high quality TIFF file, and it is large. I noticed that when I save pictures that I don't finalize in Lightroom, the megabytes are higher. So this image is gonna save at least. I didn't have to do anything to it. I didn't crop it or anything. So this image will actually save in JPEG at least 18 and 20 megabytes. If you did this in Lightroom, you'll lose so much quality, and your image will be down to 10 and 12, sometimes 15. You'll be like, hey, I got a 10, 12 megabyte file. I wonder why. And I had and my camera says 26. Well, that's why. Because the details are lost when you're using, not details, but not just details, but image quality and data is lost when you do Lightroom first. So now that this image is done, you save it in JPEG, and from JPEG, if you want to do some other changes in Lightroom, you can, but I don't know how you recommend it. I just say leave it like it is. So that's it. And guys, hey, I'm gonna end this review. I'm Marcus Photography, please subscribe or go to my Instagram, follow me. I do post photos often, and I just appreciate you guys watching this review. Please leave comments below. If there's anything you have questions about, from high-speed sync, settings in this camera, what equipment I use, how did you do that, leave a comment below, and I'm pretty good at responding to comments. So, well, there you have it. Hey, we'll talk to you guys later on the next shoot.